This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are starting a 3-game homestand that is critical. Critical. They play Indiana, Orlando, Houston. Each one of those teams are below 500. Indiana is obviously better than Orlando and Houston, and Indiana may very well end up a playoff team. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to get these 3 wins because the schedule after these 3 games is brutal. It's a tough one. So let's go ahead and let's get this going. I got Steph and Andy here. We're going to break this basketball game down, ladies and gentlemen. Steph, good afternoon to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Sim. How are you, Andy? Hope everybody is okay in chat land.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Looking forward to talking about this game.
Yeah, this is a critical game, and this homestand is a critical homestand because after this homestand, we play the Lakers, we play the Warriors, we play the Nets, we play Atlanta. There's somebody else in there. I don't remember who it is. But it's a tough schedule. The next 5 games after this homestand is a tough schedule. If we can win these 3 games, we'll be 10-6. We'll have a little bit of cushion going into this tough 5-game stretch. You know what I mean?
I think Chicago's in there too.
Chicago, that's the other team. Chicago, right? Chicago. So I think it's Chicago, Lakers, Golden State, Atlanta. And I just missed out on another team.
Was it Phoenix?
Phoenix is in there, yeah. So we have Chicago, we got the Lakers, we got Phoenix, Golden State, Atlanta. It's a tough schedule right there. Tough schedule. Golden State, I mean, right now, they're the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm. They lost to Charlotte last night.
Though. And then the Lakers, you know, of course, they got Melo and Anthony Davis and LeBron and Russell Westbrook and all those guys. I don't know if it's fully clicking yet, but when you got all those guys on one team, you know, you better come to play basketball. So if the Knicks, you know, they have some challenges ahead of them. You know, Andy, what's popping, man?
Yo, what up, Sam? What up, Steph? What up to the to the chat? Listen, I hope the Knicks switch it up. I did everything in my power, meaning I had laundry with each and every single Knick gear I have in my house. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I just put those, t-shirts on the shelf. I'm like, "Nah, I gotta switch up the look." I just did the laundry, like whole, laundry with only blue t-shirts of the Knicks. I shaved. I rarely shave. I shave like 0. So, I'm soft like like a little, kid. So I hope, that this is only thing that I could do to help up the Knicks. So I hope the luck changes now.
Yeah. I hope so. Looking at the injury report between these 2 teams, Chris Duarte is questionable for tonight. So I don't know. I guess he has some shoulder soreness. I don't know who would actually take his place. Isaiah Jackson is out. TJ Warren is out. And for the Knicks, Nerlens Noel is out of, he's questionable. He's not out. He's questionable for tonight, which means Taj Gibson, again, is going to be the backup center. Are you afraid that already early in the season we're going to start wearing Taj Gibson out? I mean, he's another year older from last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as much as we can, I'd like to save Taj Gibson for in the event that we need him in the playoffs or down the stretch of the season and not be using him so early in the season. What are you worried about that at all, Steph?
I am. I am. I mean, he's supposed to be situational, but the situations is coming very early in the season.
Right.
And when you think about it, in the playoffs, he was pretty much one of our best players, him and Rose. So we're not sure if we do make the playoffs, and I think we will. We may need him again. We may need him again. So absolutely, I would prefer if he was just sitting on the bench from the majority of this season.
Yeah, yeah, I do as well. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, listen, it's always better to have, full roster, fully healthy. But then again, if you look around the NBA, Sim, teams have way bigger problems than what we have going on. So, I'm happy that, we were basically healthy, almost like 14 out of 15 guys. Then again, this position might be the worst for us to cover up. So that might be hurting us the most, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know why he's not using Jericho Sims a little bit more. I'd like to see him use Jericho Sims a little bit, at least because, Nerlens Noel is hurt,
Yeah.
and we need to preserve Taj Gibson. So use him a little bit, even if you're not giving him all of Taj Gibson's minutes, maybe even half of Taj's minutes would help Taj Gibson out, and then use Taj Gibson, in those situations where it's really critical. You know what I'm saying? But, Tom Tibbs is, you already know, Tom Tibbs is gonna, he likes his Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? Those are his guys, so he's gonna make sure that they're out there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, a quick look at the injury report. If you're just joining us, Chris Duarte for the Indiana Pacers, he's questionable. Isaiah Jackson is out. TJ Warren, he's out. And for the New York Knicks, Nerlens Noel, he's questionable. So we will see how that goes from there. All right. Tony, what's popping with you, man?
What's going on, Sam? What's going on, guys?
Glad to see
Queen.
you.
Going.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time. Yeah, Noel is out, you say?
Well, he's questionable. He's questionable
Okay,
right now.
Okay. I'm already pegging this the revenge game. I mean, they're gonna have to do something with Miles tonight. He can't come out and have a game like that last one. And shout out to you guys, because you guys was telling me how dangerous he was. And I was like, he got to show me, because he's never aggressive, and it felt like he was listening, because he was aggressive that whole game. And yeah, hopefully we got an answer for him tonight.
Yeah, hopefully, man, hopefully. Looking at the starting lineups for tonight, and of course I made these starting lineups not knowing that Chris Duarte was going to be questionable, because the official NBA injury report hadn't come out yet. So we'll see who starts in lieu of Chris Duarte. But you got Kemba Walker for the Knicks at point guard, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, then Mitchell Robinson at the center spot. For the Indiana Pacers, you got Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Chris Duarte, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Now, obviously, Chris Duarte may be out. He's questionable for tonight. If Chris Duarte is out, any ideas, Steph, on who steps into that lineup?
I'm thinking Holiday. Justin
Probably.
Holiday, perhaps.
Probably. I would think so as well. Any thoughts there, Andy?
With him. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Silo. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I thought he was asking me the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, listen, they got Duarte, game time decision, but like Sim said, Warren is out, Jackson is out, so they don't have, that much of, wiggle room down at the wings. So I don't think they're going to be able to move LeVert to the 2. I was thinking about that possibility, but with those, with TJ out and Jackson out, that might be a problem for them. So it actually might be Holiday.
Yeah.
And that's a huge drop off from Duarte to Holiday.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right. It is. It is. Chris Duarte is good.
Yeah, I wanted him.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. I think the Knicks wanted him too, but yeah, he's really good. Tony, any thoughts on? Where
I
the
agree
Pacers
that it's probably Holiday, but I don't know if it's that much of a drop off to in my opinion. I credit. I mean, I give credence to how long he's been in the league compared to Duarte, as far as give him the edge in that he's played for us as well. Granted, different regime, and but he's a solid defender, good shooter. I think he's still a threat. 100%. I wouldn't underestimate him.
He's definitely a threat, but Chris Duarte so far this season is averaging 14 points a game. He's a rookie, 14 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists per game. He's shooting 43% from the field, and he's shooting 40.3% from the 3-point line. You know, he's a big contributor for them. Now, and I'm not putting down Justin Holiday, because Justin Holiday, he's been a contributor for them for, a few years now. He's a good defender. So yeah, I definitely am not putting down Justin Holiday. I think Justin Holiday, he's averaging 9.5 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1.4 assists per game. So he's definitely a threat out there. He averages 29 minutes per game. He's also shooting 37% from the 3-point line. So either way it happens, you got a guy out there that's that can be lethal. You know what I'm saying? And either RJ Barrett or Evan Fournier is going to have to guard that person. I don't know, which way Tom Thibodeau will decide to go as far as defensive matchups are concerned. Let's go ahead and go down and just look at these matchups. I got a couple of guys that I think are keys, and we'll bring their stats up across the screen. Kemba Walker and Malcolm Brogdon, I think that's a key matchup, but I think there's a couple of areas that may be a little bit more key than Kemba Walker and Malcolm Brogdon, but that's definitely a key matchup because we know Kemba Walker is not a guy that's defending the point of attack well, and Malcolm Brogdon, he can do it. He can score the basketball from the 3-point line, mid-range. He can get to the cup. He can be a great assist man. The last time we played him, Malcolm Brogdon had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Steph, any thoughts on this matchup?
No, it seems like we've discussed this matchup 5 times, right? We've only played them. This is just the second time we played them.
Right.
Listen, Brogdon has the edge. I will say, if Kemba is able to play like he played in Charlotte, he'll make him have to work. But overall, I think Brogdon has the edge.
Yeah, I think Brogdon has a big edge over him, actually. And I hate saying that about Kemba, but I do. I feel like Brogdon has a big edge over him.
Yeah.
Andy, any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, so going back to the big word, I think, almost every guard is way bigger than Kemba, so they all might have a big edge over Kemba. But yeah, to be true, listen, Brogdon is a really, really solid, fundamentally player and point guard. Not only crafty, but he can, also score points, distribute the ball. So he's like that player that maybe doesn't do one thing perfectly and like way above average, but he does every little thing from offense to defense, from floor, being a floor general to do basically everything you want from your point guard play as a coach. His size is only, a huge factor, at least versus the Knicks, because, he's way bigger than Kemba, stronger than Kemba. So physically, I think, and maybe even skill set wise, unless Kemba has a great scoring night, I think that this matchup goes to the Pacers.
Yeah, me too. I do. Tony, any other thoughts?
I mean, I agree. You know, like Queen said, this is the fifth time we spoke about this matchup, but this is the first time that, you know, I guess I'm on board with everybody, and I'm giving Brogdon the edge, well, more than the edge, but you know, he's got it. This kid, he's not great at anything, but he's probably has one of the highest basketball IQs at that position in the league, and I think that trumps, you know, skill. It trumps a lot of other, you know, things. So, yeah, he got the edge.
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon is a guy. I don't know what he's getting paid. Excuse me, paid, but he's a guy that.
So, Mike, I can tell you, I got it open. You know, he's like, it's like almost 21. It's 21.7 million this year, and it goes above 22 million the next year's 22 and a half. The next 4 years, 3 years, sorry, after this season. So he's, you know, he got that money already. So
yeah, see, he's a guy that I think, you know, when you look at what the Knicks are trying to do and what Tom Thibodeau likes as far as, you know, having a guard that can be a floor general, but also get to the basket and those type of things, he would have probably fit the Knicks perfectly. I doubt he's on the market, but I think he would have fit with the Knicks perfectly. The Knicks need a floor general out there, someone who can be a leader on the floor. Right now, Kemba's not that guy. Malcolm Brogdon, I think, you know, is that kind of a player. You know, just with his basketball IQ, his toughness, very tough guard. You know, let's hope that the Indiana Pacers, you know, just I don't know, somehow collapse this season and it's just no good and they're ready to get rid of the guy. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's going to be the case, but, you know, we can all hope.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can all hope. Now, as far as other defensive assignments, right, Kemba Walker and Malcolm Brogdon, right, I think that's almost a given. But then if we're talking about Justin Holiday starting, whether it's the 2 or the 3, I think probably Evan Fournier guards Justin Holiday. Right?
Right.
Any thoughts on that matchup, if that's the case?
I would just say that, you know, you would think Fournier would win this matchup.
Finally, a matchup, at least.
A matchup. However, you know, like Tony said, Holiday is not, I mean, he's an NBA player, you know,
right.
So, and we've had players go off on us, right? So I would say Fournier wins this matchup, but I don't think it's something that we need to take for granted, right? But he starts hitting, you know, shots, then the next thing you know, we got another Connaughton on our hands.
Yeah. Yeah, the last time we played him, he didn't score the last time we played him. But, you know, that he was 0 for 7 from the field. He was 0 for 7 from the three-point line. But that tells you a story right there. All he's going to do is shoot threes.
Right.
Right? 0 for 7 from the three-point line, he's going to shoot threes. And if we don't, you know, step up and guard that three-point line, he can have a night on us. We've seen him play. Tony, any thoughts on the matchup?
I'm going Fournier as well. But I think at this point Fournier is about due for, you know, a Fournier game, and I'm gonna say he's gonna have his game tonight. So Fournier gets this one.
Okay, Andy.
Yes, and listen, I think for Knicks fans at this point, it's going to be more painful if a guy that's averaging 9 points gets like twice that, like 18, 16. We're going to remember all of those 16 points instead of remembering those 12 or 15 that Fournier is going to score, right? So I think, you know, if he doesn't lock him up, it's going to be, you know, I think that Knicks fans have on the magnifying glass and see rather that way. Also because, you know, the drop off on defense from what we were used to see last season, it's like that big that we are like picking play after play, like, oh, this was a bad play on defense. This was a bad play on defense. So we're going to recognize those second, third tier guys versus the Knicks that score a bucket or two above their average. And I really think that's a problem, actually, you know, because each game it happens. And this time, listen, we finally gotta win 1, 2, 3 matchups to get this W. And I was thinking last night, you know, because the Knicks didn't play, I was thinking, when are we finally gonna see a Knicks blowout? Like they're gonna lead from, you know, from the fourth quarter, like 10 points, second quarter 20, and they just gonna, you know, run with the game the whole time with no panic, you know, mode, no stressful minutes, you know, comebacks, no nothing like that. Because, you know, that's gonna prove us that we have the ability. But, you know, great teams have those games like really often. We didn't see that happen. Whenever we got the lead, you know, we easily lost it. So, you know, that's a thing that we gotta stop doing. And that, you know, those losses were basically because those second tier, third tier guys, you know, got the opposition into the game back. So
Yeah, and I mean, and we've had a couple of games that were blowouts, right? Where we were blowing the team out, but then
right?
we allowed, we allowed the teams to creep back in. You know, I think you know, with Philadelphia, we were blowing them out pretty bad. Now we allowed them to creep back in. There was somebody else that we were blowing out pretty bad by 27, and we let it get back down to 12. You know, I don't
Might
remember.
have been Orlando.
Maybe it was Orlando. I think it might have been Orlando. Yeah. Then they
I
came
think
back.
the first Milwaukee game.
Well, the first Milwaukee game, we were down 21.
Oh, all right. Then the second one.
Yeah, we were down 21, and then we came back, and then in the second one, we were down 24, and we came back. I think it was that Orlando game, that first Orlando game, we were up, and we let them creep back into the game. We were up like 27. We let them creep back in the game, and then the next game they beat us. You know, R.J. Barrett and Karis LeVert. Any thoughts about this matchup here? Now, Karis LeVert, the last time we played him, he had 21 points, 5 assists. He was 44% from the field. He didn't shoot well from the three-point line. R.J. Barrett, this might have been the start of a little bit of a good stretch for R.J. Barrett. Or I don't know if, maybe it started the game before or something like that. But he had 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. He didn't shoot particularly well, right? He was 40% from the field. He was 33.3% from the three-point line, but he had a good game. We're going to need him to have a good game again tonight against Karis LeVert. On the season, these two guys, I do have a comparison because I think this is probably one of the key matchups for us. Right? So when we look at these two, let me get it on over here. There we go. R.J. Barrett's averaging 15.8 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists. He's shooting 41.5% from the field, 33.8% from the three-point line, and 71.8% from the free throw line. Karis LeVert, he's averaging 16.3 points per game. I don't know what I just did with the rebounding, but he's definitely not averaging 2.84 rebounds per game. He's averaging probably more than that. Not exactly sure what I did. He's averaging 4 assists, shooting 40% from the field, 23% from the three-point line, and shooting 61.1% from the free throw line. All right, that's Karis LeVert. Those are his numbers. Any thoughts about that matchup?
I think Karis LeVert wins the matchup. And the reason I say that is because Karis LeVert is a dog. He's an alpha. He knows what his role is on this team, He knows he's one of the leading scorers. He knows that in order for this team to win, he has to show up. And for the most part, he does. Even when he doesn't shoot well, he still takes the shots he's supposed to take. His presence, his presence is there. RJ, I'm not sure where RJ is right now. He went on that 5-game stretch where we thought he was coming into his own. Not necessarily statistically, in my opinion, but just how he was taking his shots, how aggressive he was being, how he was, going for it. And lately, and again, I'm not even talking about statistically, lately he just doesn't seem aggressive, pretty laid back. It comes to him. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Not really pressing the issue. And so that's why I give Caris LeVert the edge, because he's going to go after the game. He's not going to wait for it to come to him.
Right. And you can see right now RJ's numbers are down across the board from last season. All of the Knicks starters' numbers are down across the board. But RJ's, well, he's, had a nice little stretch. Past couple of games, he's been struggling a little bit. Andy?
Yeah, listen, I think most Knicks fans don't realize that these players are really similar for their respective teams. Both try to impact their team even without, their scoring. And Caris LeVert, I think, has a way bigger impact on the Pacers even if he's not scoring. He can distribute the ball. He takes defenses on him and passes out the ball. He can create for himself, but also for his teammates. RJ, isn't that much invested in the whole team concept, I think, and it's not because of him, it's because of, the situation that he's in. Last year, Julius was really the main guy, and he was like 85% of the whole offense. This year, getting Kemba and Fournier, we were thinking that that's going to split up, and RJ is going to have even less of, that offense going through him. And like Steph said, he's in a slump now. So it depends when is he going to break out of that slump, because I really see RJ having those kind of games, 20 points games with a couple of rebounds, couple of assists, a steal, a block, and stuff like that. But, this is what was my key goal for RJ, this season, that he doesn't go into those long slumps. I know he's a young player, but he needs to cut that to way shorter, pairing of games. Now it's like the third game, probably. There are 3 games that he has under his belt that are a little up below his averages and stuff like that, because the 25 games that he averaged 20 and over were really good, and we were thinking that this is the next step for RJ. And as soon as we try to realize it and acknowledge it, it went south. So I really hope that for every 5 games it's like 1 game of a slump, maybe 2, and then he bounce backs. And it's not going to be like 5 good games, 5 bad games, because that's not going to get him anywhere. And he's just going to be labeled an inconsistent player, and that's the worst thing that can happen for an NBA player, to be labeled an inconsistent guy. That's not going to get you paid. That's not going to get you, you're not going to be that cornerstone pillar of a team if you're going to be inconsistent.
Right. I agree with you. And, I don't think that any of the starters, I don't see their offensive game really picking up and becoming efficient until they start to play together as a unit.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony, what do you think?
We talking about RJ, right? RJ matchup?
Yeah, RJ and Caris LeVert. Yeah.
I think both guys are gonna have a good game today. I think RJ's gonna bounce back like he usually does after a poor performance. I think LeVert has something to prove, because I believe RJ had a pretty good game against him last time they played.
He had 23 points, but Caris LeVert had a good game as well. He had 21.
So I think it's going to be just like that, very close in comparison with the numbers, just like the numbers are pretty close throughout the year. But I'm gonna actually give RJ the edge tonight, just because I think he's going to be in like bounce back mode, just like Fournier's due for a good game. I think RJ is just, bounce back like he usually does. He doesn't usually have multiple bad performances, back to back to
Right.
back. So
Right. That's true.
I'm going RJ tonight.
Do you think the Knicks are feeling desperate right now? Will we see them come out with that type of desperation? I hope that they do, but I don't know. Do you think, Steph, that they're feeling desperate?
I think so. I think that even if they knew after that 5-1 start that they had things to work on, I didn't think they would think that since then. I think we're under 500 since then, right?
Since then, right.
Yeah, so definitely, I think they're frustrated. You could tell Randall's frustrated. He frustrated during the game. And they've had, shout out to still Knicks fans who talked about Tibbs and them having, 2 practices or so. So I do think they come out with a lot of urgency. But they've been urgent before. I mean, the key is when you get that lead, how do you hold it? How do you play 48 minutes?
Right. Yeah, I know. Looking at the next matchup, Julius Randle and Domantas Sabonis. Obviously, this is the, probably the primary matchup of the game, the marquee matchup of the game, right? Both guys, kind of are the leader of their team in scoring, rebounding. They're 2 strong power forwards. I seen something the other day where somebody said, Domantas Sabonis' game, is just a little bit more, his style of play is more efficient than Julius Randle's and maybe even fits what the Knicks are trying to do better than Julius Randle. And you know what? I can't even complain to him. And let me put Domantas Sabonis, let me put his name up here on the thing. I got Miles Bridges up here. But any thoughts on that matchup, Tony? I'll start with you. Julius Randle and Domantas Sabonis.
It can go either way. Anytime they go up against each other.
That's true.
I think if I could comment on the comment you said you heard about them, I think the difference in between the two is Randle has the idea, impression, or maybe just the reality that he is the go-to guy. And I think Sabonis has yet to be given the keys, if you will. You know what I mean? He kind of knows that Brogdon might be the guy tonight. Like other people have the opportunity to be the guy on any given night. So it's really like, yo, go out there and play your game. Julius, whether it be his own fault or just the situation, he doesn't have that luxury. You know what I mean? Like that pressure is on him every single night. So, maybe that changes if Sabonis is in that position where he is the guy every single night. Like, you know what I mean? This is your team. You're the leader. All that. That might change the perspective. But I'm going Randle tonight more so because we need a win. So and he's been stinking it up too the past couple games.
Yeah, yes.
So
yes. Do you think, just with what you were saying about the thought process of the 2 players, do you think with Randle it's, he wants to try to step up to the level of, being mentioned with the like Kawhi Leonard and Paul Georges and those guys, and maybe Domantas Sabonis just doesn't really care? He's okay with being just Domantas Sabonis, where maybe Randle wants to try to take his game up to that next level.
It very well could be, and it's a thin line to say, yo, don't have that mentality. You know what I mean? Like you don't ever want to take that away from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But that could very well, you know what I mean? That's why I said, maybe his own fault. Maybe it's just the situation. I can't call that for certainty, but you obviously can see that. You saw it his first year here. You saw it last year as well. It's still a learning process, though. That's why I try to put it in that perspective of, Sabonis may be able to do it, but I guarantee the first year he's in that position, it may be a little different from him. You know what I mean? Because it's an adjustment, and you got to figure that out.
Right.
So I'm gonna put it more, instead of putting it like a blame on Randle, I'm gonna say he's still, he's still figuring it out.
Right. Okay. Andy.
Yeah, I have to disagree with Tony here. And listen, this is because I really think that these players, as long as skill set wise, they might be really similar. The mentality of these guys is like plus and minus, black and white, the totally opposite. One is a really team player in Sabonis. He would rather take a W and not score a point than, get points and don't help the team. I think Randle is way more egoistic, ISO player than Sabonis is. Last time Randle outplayed him, but I really feel that Sabonis would do, what's the word, would like give up more of his individual stats to get the W for the team than Randle would. And listen, last year they were both all-stars or borderline all-stars, or were like fighting only these two guys for that one last spot. I think an injury happened. That's why Sabonis got into the All-Star game, but that wouldn't be it. But, if you would ask me which guy I would pick for my team, it might have been Sabonis.
Okay. All right. Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree. And it's not just Andy, it's a lot of players. I don't think Randle is egotistical unless you think every number one option on the team, like Harden and Paul George and Kawhi, these guys are egotistical. This is how the game is played in the NBA. If you're the best player, you take the most shots. I don't think he's out there just trying to pad his stats and just trying to shoot so that everybody can look at him, and he doesn't care whether or not the team wins. I think he's doing what he's doing because he believes, as misguided as he may be, he believes that doing this is going to help our team win. So I disagree with him being a selfish player, but I will say that him and Sabonis has different roles. Randle sees himself, for better or for worse, as a point forward that runs the offense, facilitates the offense. Sabonis doesn't see himself that way. That's not his role. He plays his role, right? I actually would like Randle to not facilitate the offense. I really would like him to let the guards facilitate the offense, and you just go down and get to your spots. You're going to still get your points. The mailman, Patrick Ewing, Duncan, all of these guys played the power forward position. They didn't have his skill set. That might be part of it. They let the guards facilitate the offense. And what did the guards do? Get the ball to them because they knew this is our best player. So the point I'm trying to make is he'll still get the ball if he allows others to facilitate. And when you get it, shoot. Stop looking for people. If you're double teamed, that's the only time. Other than that, just shoot. And I think that's the issue with Randle, in my opinion. He's trying to facilitate the offense instead of just giving that roll up and just get to your spot.
Real quick, part of that is, well, a question is that him or is that the offense?
Maybe it's not even Tibbs, right? You're right. Telling him we don't need that anymore.
Because if Tibbs, if he's put in a position like to where he's fed the ball in the low post or something of that nature, you can still create over there. You could preserve some energy. I agree. I think that's one of the aspects that I was looking forward to coming into the season. Right. Like even him getting some easier shots, like or not having to make the decision from the back court to the front court to the, you know what I mean, all the way through. Let somebody feed you, and your only decision is left hand or right hand. You know what I mean, dunk or field goal. Like, So that's what we have yet to see. But one of the things that I was looking forward to, coming into the season.
And we're going to need that, in my opinion, if we're going to move forward. We got to get Randle from facilitating, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why there's not a lot of chemistry between him and Kemba Walker, because they both probably feel like they're the facilitator out there on the floor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, not that they're arguing it and going, head to head against each other, but just not understanding what their roles are out there on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, who should be facilitating when?
Right.
And when things really, really get tough, who's going to have the basketball in their hands? And that chemistry right now is not, between the two. One of the things about Tom Thibodeau that everyone always said is, with Tom Thibodeau, you know where you stand, you know what your role is. There's no question about who's doing what. It doesn't seem like that between Kemba and Randle. Seems like they're not sure who's supposed to be doing what. Anyway, looking at this matchup, Julius Randle's averaging 21, 10 points, 5 rebounds, shooting 41.9% from the field so far. He's shooting 35.9%, which is decent, but is down from the 42% he shot last year. And he's shooting 76.8% from the free throw line. Sabonis is averaging 18.3 points per game, 11.3 rebounds per game, 3.9 assists. He's shooting 58% from the field, 26.2% from three, and 71.4% from the free throw line. I think Randle's going to have a good game tonight. I think the rest, a couple of days off, able to get home. Hopefully they had some good practices. I think Randle will have a good game tonight. I'm giving him this matchup tonight. Steph, who do you think wins this matchup tonight?
If I'm going by Sabonis hasn't been playing well either. I was going to say, if I'm going by how I've seen Randle the past few games, I would give it to Sabonis, but he's not playing that well the past few games either. I think they did some magic these past 2 games in practice. I'm gonna give the edge to Randle.
Okay. Andy?
But it's even.
But yeah, it's about even.
Yeah,
but it's about even. Andy?
Yeah, like I said last time, I think we could pencil the W for Randle as a 1 versus 1. And this might be the case, 1 versus 1, they might be, Randle might have an edge versus him. Mm-hmm. But, looking at the, team, whole offense, philosophy, mentality, I think, Sabonis, number-wise, he might lose this, but the Pacers still, might be better out with a player like Sabonis than with a guy like Randle. If you would swap them 1 for 1, I think the Knicks would be way better with Sabonis than with Randle.
Okay. Randle, last game, had 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists. He didn't shoot well from the field. He was 37.5% from the field, and he was 0 for 2 from the three-point line, whereas Sabonis had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He only took 8 shots. He was 0 for 1 from the three-point line. Both players had a bunch of turnovers. Randle had 3, Sabonis had 4. So we'll see how that matchup goes. And then now, this next matchup, to me, may be the biggest matchup of the night. Miles Turner and Mitchell Robinson, because the last game, Miles Turner lit us up. And maybe that was a career game for Miles Turner. But he was 7 for 10 from the three-point line, shot 70%. He was 9 for 14 from the field altogether. He had 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Mitchell Robinson, on the other hand, against Miles Turner last game, had 3 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. But clearly, he doesn't have the same offensive game that Miles Turner has. And this is an area where I feel they can dominate. Unless we can find ways to get Mitchell Robinson on the board through alley-oop, keep Miles Turner busy, they can they might be able to dominate this matchup the same way that they did last time. Mitchell Robinson's averaging 7.2 points per game, 8 rebounds, 1.6 blocks. He's 82.9% from the field, but obviously that's because he's catching lobs or getting putbacks. Doesn't shoot threes. He's shooting 60% from the free throw line. Miles Turner's averaging 14.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3.4 blocks per game for Miles Turner. Shooting 55.4% from the field. He's shooting 44.1% from the three-point line. And he's shooting 68.9% from the free throw line. I feel like Mitchell Robinson, the Knicks I would like to see them find a way to neutralize Miles Turner, at least with point production. They both average the same rebounds, at least with point production. Neutralize Miles Turner by utilizing Mitchell Robinson in the screen and roll, finding him through some alley-oops, even if he's able to get deep in the paint and post somebody up. Even if he's posting up Miles Turner, and just let him go up with the ball. Maybe you get Miles Turner in foul trouble or something like that, or just put some pressure on Miles Turner, so that it's not as easy for him to leak out, or he's maybe a little bit tired when he's out there at the three-point line. I don't think he's going to shoot like that again, but he's shooting 44% from the field. So, from the three-point line for the season, you know what I mean? Wow. So this is his game right now. Any thoughts about it, Steph?
I think Turner wins this matchup. Mitch is just not looking great. I wish Noel was available for this game. He's still questionable, so there's still some hope. I just think Miles Turner just moves better. He doesn't just stay in the paint like we know. He moves out to the three-point line. Mitch is not as fast as he used to be. He's camping in the key. I don't know. Maybe that's the defensive philosophy, the game plan, right? Trying to dissuade the ball handler from coming into the key. That leaves Miles Turner open. So I'm not sure if they're going to do anything different today. But like you said, Sam, 44.1% from three. I'm not sure how many he takes per game. That's a very good percentage. So I give, and his rebounding is up. He's not even a good rebounder. He's averaging 8 rebounds a game. So I give this matchup to Turner.
Yeah. Sherwin M said Turner is not a good shooter. Well, the stats you see on the screen tell you something very different, because he's shooting 55% from the field and 44% from three. If that's not a good shooter, then I guess I haven't been watching the same basketball as you all these years. Andy?
Listen, Sim, we blame Tibbs for not adjusting in the playoff series that we had versus Atlanta. If he doesn't adjust his defense versus Miles Turner, looking at the numbers that you just said and looking back on the game that we played versus the Pacers, and I God forbid him shooting 7 for 10 from three again. That's not going to happen. I can bet money on that. But if I see Miles Turner take 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter and they're all going to be open, and we don't adjust Mitch at least staying closer to him, that's going to mean someone needs glasses on the Knicks bench. And this is going to be terrible, because, I realize, you can leave him open for the second shot and see if it's going to fall. If he's going to be 0 for 2, you can leave him for the third one. But if he's going to be like 50%, like 2 out of 4 in the first quarter, and you're still going to let him shoot,
right?
That means really something's wrong with the assistant coaches and with Tibbs.
Yeah.
I realize that he's a center and you have defensive philosophies, but you gave him 10 shots last game. He made 7. If you're going to dare him to shoot, he's going to take those shots. And if he's going to make them, the game is just going to be the same exact game like we saw last game. We're going to get an L, because, we're thinking that, the Murphy's Law is just going to hit, and he's going to be hitting like 50%, not 70%. So, right. If your defensive scheme is that you're going to hope, that's a bad defensive plan.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. And he's averaging 5 3-point attempts per game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he took double, Sim, because he was wide open.
Because he was wide open. Yeah, because he was wide open. Yeah, he's averaging 5 a game. Tony.
Wow.
I think you guys all were right. I think part of it was a lack of respect for Miles shooting, because I believe historically against Mitchell Robinson or against the Knicks the past couple of years, he wasn't hitting them. Like he really had bad games from behind the line. So I think that might have been part of it, like daring him to make them, which obviously was a bad idea. But it also was a career game. Like he's never shot that high percentage. He's never shot that many, or he's never made that many in a game. So I agree that it's not going to repeat itself. And then Sim, what you said earlier, was going to be exactly my point of they have to make him work. Like they're going to have to look for Mitch this game and make Miles work. I know Mitch is limited in what he can do offensively, but they're going to have to figure out some type of scheme, some kind of plays, some kind of pick and roll that just makes Miles work, because he had the option to literally just, stay down low, and now Mitch is down there, but he's not being drawn away from the basket at all with Mitch on the floor. So He had the opportunity to just, attack every shot at the rim. So it was probably one of the easiest games he's ever played, because defensively he didn't have to work at all, and then offensively it was daring him, so he had wide open shots all night long. I don't foresee that happening again. I think Mitch will have to, show him some respect defensively and guard him on the perimeter, and make him try to beat him at the rim, beat him to the rim. But I don't see it happening again. I was so wrong last time, because I kind of made all these points last game about Miles not being aggressive. I think that's the most aggressive I've ever seen him. I don't know if that's who he is now, or if that was just like that game. But I even if Miles beats Mitch out, I'm gonna give him the edge. I don't think it's gonna be anything like last game.
I hope not. Because if we let this guy light it up from the 3-point line, we're gonna be in trouble. Because that means he's spreading the floor out. Now we're taking our shot blocker out of the lane, and he's gonna take him out the lane anyway, right? But the more he's out there at the 3-point line, and if he's knocking him down, now Mitch is really going to be glued to him and afraid to come off of him, and we're going to have guys taking forwards to the paint all night long.
And to Andy's point, he didn't all game long. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he literally dared them all game long. He started off hot, he finished hot, and it was no adjustment at all. It was like Mitch was like at the foul line, maybe a quarter away to the 3-point line, but not closer than that. Yeah, he had at least 2 feet on every shot.
Yeah. That's going to be a big matchup tonight, man. I'm giving the matchup to Miles Turner, because I think he's going to score more than Mitch. He's just more versatile than Mitchell Robinson. So I'm going Miles Turner with that. I just want the Knicks to make Miles Turner have to work a little bit. So hopefully he's tired and maybe his legs are a little bit hurting a little bit, can't launch and knock down those threes. Steph, who did you get a matchup to?
Turner.
Andy?
Gotta go with Turner.
Gotta go with Turner. Tony, you going with Turner too?
I am.
Yeah. I think that's probably, most people probably will. You can see the numbers behind both teams and what they average for the season. And they're pretty similar, right? Both teams are pretty similar. I think that this is going to be a battle. The Knicks average 109.6. The Pacers 109.1. The Knicks average 46 rebounds. The Pacers basically 46 rebounds. 24 assists a game for the Pacers. 21.8 for the Knicks. both average about 7 steals, both about 6 blocks, 15 turnovers for the Pacers, 13 for the Knicks. The Pacers are shooting 47% from the field, while the Knicks are shooting 44.7% from the field. The Pacers, they shoot 35.9% from 3. The Knicks, 37. Both teams about 75% from the free throw line. The Pacers average 49.4 points in the paint. The Knicks are 44.5. Second chance points, the Pacers 14.4, the Knicks 14.2. The Pacers averaging 11.4 fast break points, and the Knicks average 13 fast break points per game. The Pacers are led by Domantas Sabonis in points and rebounds. The Knicks are led by Julius Randle in points and rebounds. T.J. McConnell, their super sub off the bench, averages 5.6 assists, while Randle averages 5.2 assists. And Miles Turner averages 3.36 blocks per game, while Mitchell Robinson is averaging 1.58 for the Knicks. And talk about the bench. I give the bench play to the Knicks, especially if Chris Duarte is out, because now you take Justin Holiday off the bench and put him into the starting lineup. So I think the Knicks bench definitely has an upper hand, but you always got to watch out for T.J. McConnell, because for some reason that guy kills the Knicks. Right? He kills the Knicks, but I think the Knicks bench should have the upper hand in this game. And ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Game Day pregame show. And for your most up-to-date sports content and betting odds, make sure you check out the Game Day. The link is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. You can also check it out in the description of this video. Make sure you go to their webpage, ladies and gentlemen. Even if just to help me out, just go to their webpage. Check them out. The Game Day. They got some really good content on there. And I think you like it. So make sure you go check it out. And smash that like button for the Game Day and for this channel, for this show right now. If you like what you're watching, make sure you hit that like button. Any keys to the game, Steph? I'll start with you that you have, that you like to point out. I have some keys to the game, but I want to see what you're pointing out.
That first unit has to play with more energy and more cohesion, and not just when things are going well. Right. Teams are going to come back. That's what happens, in the NBA. You still need to do the same thing. So I think that's a key to the game for me. Play with cohesion and play 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Particularly the first unit.
Right. Andy?
Yeah, I agree with Steph that the first unit has to show up. It can be, again, that we're counting on our bench, to get us back into the game while playing only like 15 or to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that's not going to happen. And listen, bearing the matchups at the power forward and center position, I think, rebounding is going to be a key also in this game, because, Sabonis and Turner, they average over 20 rebounds, just in the two of those guys. Meanwhile, we never know how many minutes Mitch will be able to play. And, Randle with his, a little bit above 10 rebounds a game, might not be enough versus the Pacers roster. So I think rebounding is also going to be a key, and, not letting, Sabonis get that offensive rebound and put back. And most hated for me, the put back with a foul that he gets.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's going to be a killer for the Knicks. Second chance points from those big guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the Knicks have been kind of iffy. Sometimes they're not allowing teams to get offensive rebounds and second chance points. And then some nights teams are rebounding all over us, getting every single loose ball and getting 26 second chance points or 22 second chance points or something. Tony, any keys that you have?
I agree with you as far as, everybody about the starters, man. The starters definitely are going to have to pick it up. Coming into the season, I was like, we got 4 guys in the starting unit that could potentially give us 20 points a game. Like right now, we just need 2 of these guys to give us 20 points a game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's have our starters outscore their starters. That's number one. And then the big thing for me is, especially with this team, but just overall, to limit the turnovers. Stop turning the ball over, because it's really giving teams easier shots. coming right off the turnover. And with this team in particular, you know, that's not one of their. I don't think their strengths come offensively like that. So just to be giving the points away, like I think we have a much better shot. I mean, this goes for any team, but a much better shot just making them run their offense and fight for what they can get and stop giving the easy points away.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my keys to the game. The Knicks need to have a strong start. Last game, we got down 11-0 quick. Right in the first quarter, first 5 minutes of the game, we're down 11-0. We need to have a strong start. That can't happen again. Defend the point of attack. I think that's going to be on just about every key to the game. Defend the three-point line. Last game, I think the Pacers shot 41% from the three-point line. They took 41 attempts and they shot 41%. No, I'm sorry, they shot 37%. But, you know, still, we've got to defend that three-point line and not let teams shoot 37% from the three-point line on 41 shots. You know, that's going to be tough to beat a team that's shooting that high percentage. First unit got to find some chemistry. And then again, if we get a lead, protect the lead. And we need fourth quarter execution. Against the Charlotte Hornets, we had a 16-point lead. And we blew it. Ladies and gentlemen. Those are my keys to the game tonight. For tonight's game, big shout out to CT Pittman. He says, Sim, I just hope the ones don't get the deer in the headlights look when the Pacers go on a run, because that's what I've been seeing lately. And I agree. Teams go on a run and the Knicks don't know how to stop that bleeding, or just don't have the defense to stop that bleeding this year. You know, so it's difficult, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, the Knicks play the Pacers tonight. The game starts at 7:30. And the Knicks, hey, it's a critical game, crucial stretch for the Knicks. The Knicks right now are 7-6. The Pacers are 6-8. The Knicks need this win and then the next two before they jump into a tough part of the schedule. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate your time. Any last words, Steph, before we go?
We need this one, you know, and hopefully we get it.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, listen, we got to protect home court. I think the Knicks, if I'm correct, are 2-4 in MSG. So,
Yeah,
you know,
2-4.
that's a bad thing. You know, that, you know, good teams basically play way better than on the home floor. So I hope they feel the urgency to play way better at home and with energy and passion. So hope we get this dub.
Yeah. And Tony?
Yeah, man, we need this win. And shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time. I'm back, so I'll be on in about 30 minutes. So whoever wants to,
right, yeah, 5:15.
Continue the discussion.
5:15, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go check out Tony Crow. We're out of here. Be peaceful. Oh, actually, before we go, in between now and you going and checking out Tony Crow, go ahead over there and check out the game day. All right, check out the game day. Click on the link. The link is in the description of the video. It's in the YouTube chat. Go check them out. You got 30 minutes to check it out, and then go check out Tony.
That's right.
That's easy. That's easy peasy. We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.